Okay, so if I'm given the inequality 2 to the power of 3 minus 5 to the power of 2 plus 4 is greater than x to the power of 3 and negative 2x to the power of 2, and I want to solve this inequality, my first step is I'm going to bring all the numbers and variables over to one side, simplifying it down to a polynomial function. So what I did was I brought the x to the power of 3 and negative 2x over, and once I bring them over the inequality sign, their signs change. So if they're positive, they become negative, and if they're negative, they become positive, leaving a 0 on where they were. So the right side becomes, it becomes 0. So once I brought all these numbers and variables over, switching their signs, and I did all the subtraction and addition, it simplifies to a polynomial function of x to the power of 3 minus 3x to the power of 2 plus 4 is greater than 0. So to solve this, I want to find the x-intercepts of this polynomial function. So I used synthetic division. So first I needed to find a factor of 4, making this polynomial function equal to 0. So after putting in my factors into the x values, I found that negative 1 was a factor of this polynomial function. So after doing synthetic division, I simplified it down to a degree 2 polynomial, and once I factored this, I found that it only had a factor of 2, meaning that it must have come down, hit the x-intercept at 2, and bounce back up instead of going down and through the negative, meaning my factored form would be x plus 1, because we know that a factor is negative 1, and also x minus 2, which is x equals 2, and it must be a degree 2 because it never goes through the x-intercept, it hits it and bounces back. So once I found my intercepts, I put out an interval chart. So an interval chart, in my interval chart I had negative infinity to negative 1, negative 1 to 2, and 2 to positive infinity. So because I'm trying to find all the values of x for that y is greater than 0, if we see this original, we see that we want to know when this is greater than 0. So to find this, I would plug in a number in this parameter. For example, in this, I put in any number negative 2 in for the x values and see what the result would be. In this case, it'd be negative. So I'd know that I wouldn't want this because we only want values that are greater than 0, not a negative. So then I put a number between this parameter, negative 1 and 2, for example 1, into this polynomial function, and I found it was positive. And I did the same for this one, 2 to positive infinity, for example 3, put it in for the x values, the answer came out positive. So that I know that the intervals that x to the power of 3 minus 3x to the power of 2 plus 4 is greater than 0 are between negative 1 and 2 and 2 and positive infinity. So my final answer is x to the power of 3 negative 3 to the power of 2 plus 4 is greater than 0 between the intervals of negative 1 and 2, and also 2 and positive infinity.